The smell of industrial bleach burns my nostrils as I scrub someone else's vomit off the bathroom floor. Third time this week. Welcome to the glamorous life of a night janitor at Tech Valley's most prestigious startup incubator. I'm Sylvia, and this is what supporting my brother's dreams looks like. My phone buzzes. Mum's calling, probably to remind me about tonight's family meeting. I let it go to voicemail. The less I talk to her during work hours, the better I can focus on getting through my shift. "Hey, new girl," my supervisor's voice echoes through the bathroom. "Conference room B needs attention. Someone spilled red wine all over the carpet." Of course they did, because cleaning up literal shit isn't enough for one night. 4 hours later, I drag myself home to our shared family house, my hands raw from chemicals and my back aching. The lights are still on at 1 a.m., not surprising. Hugo's entrepreneur hours mean the whole household revolves around his schedule. I find them all in the living room, Mum perched on her favourite armchair, Dad in his recliner, and Hugo sprawled across the couch with his laptop, looking fresh as a daisy. "Finally," Mum springs up. "We've been waiting for hours, sweetie." "Some of us have actual jobs, Mum," I mutter, but she's already talking over me. "Hugo has amazing news." She's practically vibrating with excitement. "Tell her, honey." Hugo sits up, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. "So, get this. I've got investors interested in my new app. It's going to revolutionise the way people think about social media advertising. Just like his last 5 apps were supposed to do." "That's great," I manage, heading for the stairs. I'm really tired. "Sit down, Sylvia," Dad says in that tone that means there's no arguing. "This involves you too." I sink into the remaining chair, already knowing where this is going. "The thing is," Hugo leans forward, all enthusiasm and practiced charm, "we need some bridge funding to get through the development phase, just for a few months." "How much?" I ask, though I already know it'll be more than I make in half a year. 50,000 should do it," he says casually, like he's asking to borrow $5 for coffee. The room spins. I don't have that kind of money. "Well," Mum jumps in, her voice honey-sweet but her eyes steel-hard, "we've been looking at the numbers, and if you pick up a second job, maybe that diner on 5th is hiring, we could make it work." "A second?" I stop myself, take a breath. I already work 60 hours a week. "Your brother needs you," Dad says firmly. "Family supports family. You don't want to be the reason Hugo's dreams fail, do you?" Hugo gives me that look, the one he's perfected since childhood. Part puppy dog, part wounded pride. "I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important, Sil. This is the big one. I can feel it. Just like the last one was the big one, and the one before that." "I'll think about it," I say, standing up before they can pile on more guilt. "The investors need an answer by Friday," Hugo calls after me as I climb the stairs. In my tiny bedroom, I collapse onto my bed, still in my work uniform. My phone buzzes again. Mum, probably following up to make sure I understood the opportunity. I roll over and pull my ancient laptop from under the bed. The keyboard has 3 missing keys and the screen flickers, but it's mine. They don't know about it. Hugo would probably try to sell it for parts. Opening an incognito browser, I navigate to my email. The message I've been waiting for all day is there. "Congratulations on completing Module 7 of Advanced Cybersecurity. Your test score, 98%. Below that, a personal note from my instructor, Nelson. "Exceptional work, Sylvia. You're picking this up faster than any student I've had. Ready for Module 8? I click the link to the next lesson, adjusting my earbuds. My hands still smell like bleach, but for the first time today, I smile. They think I'm their ATM, their perpetual safety net, the reliable daughter who'll sacrifice everything for her brother's genius. They have no idea what's coming. I start the video lesson, taking careful notes as Nelson explains advanced penetration testing. Downstairs, I can hear them still talking, probably planning how to spend my next year's worth of paychecks. Let them talk. Let them plan. Let them think I'm exactly who they've always believed me to be. I've got plans of my own. Someone puked in the VIP section again, Hugo calls out, not bothering to look up from his phone. Handle it, will you? I'm already grabbing paper towels and disinfectant. This is his 4th networking event this month. Fancy parties disguised as investor meetups, funded by my overtime hours at the diner and night shifts at the incubator. And get me another bottle of the crystal, he adds. The good stuff. We've got a whale circling. The whale is a balding man in an expensive suit, cornered by Hugo near the DJ booth. I recognise him from tech magazines, Corey Rose, known for backing risky startups. Poor guy doesn't know what he's in for. As I clean up someone's expensive dinner, I hear Hugo's pitch floating over the music. Revolutionary algorithm, disrupt the entire industry, guaranteed returns. The same promises he made to the last 3 investors. My phone vibrates, a notification from my banking app. Hugo's just transferred another $5,000 from my account for emergency marketing expenses, the memo says. I take a quick photo of the transaction, adding it to my encrypted folder labelled Receipts. Sylvia! Mum's voice cuts through the crowd. She's here too, playing the proud mother role. The caterers need payment. Use your card, sweetie, and make sure they leave enough appetizers for the late arrivals. I hand over my card, watching her sweep away to charm another potential investor. The caterer gives me a sympathetic look as she swipes it. Hey. A woman touches my arm, Marley, Hugo's girlfriend and social media manager. Could you grab some club soda? Hugo spilled wine on his shirt. At least she says please, unlike the others. Back in my car after the party, I pull out my other phone, a basic burner, and dial a familiar number. Nelson? Sorry it's late. Quick question about that firewall bypass technique from Module 12. He answers on the second ring, like always. For the past year, he's been more than just my online instructor. He's become my mentor, my confidant, the only person who knows what I'm really capable of. The party went that well, huh? He says after hearing my voice. You could say that. Hugo just burned through another $5,000 of my money trying to impress Corey Rose. The venture capitalist? Interesting. Nelson pauses. You know, there are rumours about why he stopped investing in tech startups last year. Really? I'm already opening my laptop, fingers hovering over the keys. Might be worth looking into, especially if your brother's targeting him. After hanging up, I spend the next 3 hours doing what I do best, following digital breadcrumbs. Hugo's sloppy with his cloud security, always has been. It takes me less than an hour to access his private folders. What I find makes me sit up straight. Emails, doctored financial reports, photoshopped user statistics. A whole folder labelled pitch deck assets full of fake testimonials and inflated projections. Oh, Hugo, I whisper, downloading everything. You really outdid yourself this time. My phone buzzes. Mom again. Sweetie, Hugo needs you to cover his car payment this month. Just temporary, of course. His new app is going to change everything. I think about the evidence I've just uncovered. Sure, Mum, whatever Hugo needs. That's my girl. Oh, and don't forget, the diner called. You're late for your shift. I look at the clock, 3 a.m. In 4 hours, I need to be serving breakfast to grumpy commuters. But first I have studying to do. Opening my course portal, I see a new message from Nelson. Ready for your final certification exam? You've got the skills. Time to make them official. Below that, a link to a job posting. Junior Security Analyst, remote position. Salary that makes my current 3 jobs combined look like pocket change. My hands shake as I type my response. Ready? A new email pops up, from Hugo to our parents, marked urgent. Need to discuss Sylvia's savings account. Have an idea how to access the full amount. Let's talk when she's at work. I save the email to my receipts folder right next to the photos of Hugo's $200 haircuts and first-class flights to business meetings in Vegas. They think I'm their personal ATM, their faithful servant, the good daughter who'll keep funding their delusions. But I'm also the girl who spent every free moment of the past year learning how to break into systems, track digital footprints, and document evidence. And I'm done being their backup plan. Opening my certification practice exam, I start typing. Each keystroke brings me closer to freedom, while downstairs I can hear Hugo practicing his next investor pitch. Let him practice. Let him scheme. His house of cards is about to meet a very different kind of system crash. The sound of shattering glass echoes through the house. I rush downstairs to find Hugo standing over the remains of Mum's favourite vase, his face red with rage. "What do you mean he pulled out?" he screams into his phone. "The deal was practically closed." Mum hovers nearby, already sweeping up the glass while shooting me meaningful looks. I know what's coming. "Honey," she starts right on cue. "Hugo needs— how much?" I cut her off. 20,000, Hugo says, ending his call. "For a PR consultant, we need to control the narrative before word gets out that Corey backed out." 20,000, my voice cracks. That's all I have left. "It's an investment," Dad chimes in from his armchair, not looking up from his tablet. "Your brother's reputation is everything in this industry." Before I can respond, Hugo's girlfriend Marley bursts through the front door, waving her phone. "Hugo, what's happening? The socials are blowing up with rumours about the app's testing data." Hugo's face goes pale. What rumours? That the user engagement numbers were inflated, that the beta testing feedback was cherry-picked. Marley's voice trembles. "Tell me it's not true." "Of course it's not true." Hugo laughs, but I catch the panic in his eyes. "Someone's trying to sabotage us. This is exactly why we need that PR consultant." I watch Marley's face carefully. She's not buying it anymore. "I need some air," she mumbles, heading for the bathroom. I follow her. I find her crying by the sink, mascara running down her cheeks. "I've put everything into managing his social presence," she whispers. "My whole career is tied to his success." "Marley," I start, but my phone pings with a new email. The subject line freezes me in place. "We should talk. I know what Hugo did with my money." Corey rose. "Everything okay?" Marley asks, noticing my expression. "Yeah," I lie, quickly pocketing my phone. "Just work stuff." Back in the living room, Hugo's pacing while Mum tries to calm him down. "Sylvia will help with the PR costs, won't you, sweetie?" Mum says. "Family has to stick together in times like these." I think about Corey's email, about my nearly empty savings account, about the certification exam I passed last night. "Actually," I say slowly, "I need to think about it." The room goes silent. This isn't part of their script. "Think about it?" Hugo stalks toward me, while my company burns, while everything I've built crashes down. "Everything you've built?" I laugh, surprising myself. "You mean everything I've paid for?" "Sylvia!" Mum gasps. "How dare you speak to your brother that way?" "I've got investors waiting," Hugo snarls. "Real investors, not some minimum wage janitor playing at having opinions." Dad finally looks up. "Sylvia, stop being difficult. Transfer the money to your brother, now." My phone buzzes again. Another email from Corey. "Your brother showed me doctored user data. I have proof. Do you want to know more?" "Well," Hugo demands, "are you going to help or not?" I think about the encrypted folder on my laptop, about Nelson's job offer, about Marley crying in the bathroom. "Give me until tomorrow," I say. "I need to move some money around." "Fine," Hugo spits. "But I need it by noon. And Sylvia?" His eyes narrow. "Don't even think about saying no. You know what this family does to traitors." I head upstairs, my hands shaking as I type a response to Corey. "Tomorrow, 9 a.m, the coffee shop on 4th. I'll be wearing a blue scarf." Another crash downstairs, Hugo's second tantrum of the day beginning. Mum's soothing voice floats up. "Don't worry, honey. Sylvia will come through. She always does." My laptop screen glows in the dark room as I open my private email. A message from Nelson waits. "Job offer still stands, but you'll need to act fast and be ready for fallout." I hear Marley's heels clicking across the floor below, the front door opening and closing. Through my window, I watch her sit in her car for a long moment before driving away. My phone lights up with a text from my cousin Bianca. Heard about the investor drama? You okay? I type back, not yet, but I will be. Opening my receipts folder, I start organising the evidence. Bank statements, emails, screenshots, everything that proves what Hugo's been doing with my money. Tomorrow I'll meet Corey. Tomorrow I'll hear his side of the story. Tomorrow I'll decide if I'm ready to light the match that burns everything down. My phone buzzes one last time. Mom, don't forget to transfer that money first thing tomorrow. Hugo's counting on you. Don't let your brother down. I silence my phone and keep working. They have no idea what tomorrow will bring. None of them do. The coffee shop is nearly empty at 9 a.m. Corey Rose sits in the furthest corner, looking nothing like the confident investor from Hugo's party. His expensive suit is wrinkled and dark circles shadow his eyes. You must be Sylvia, he says as I sit down. You look nothing like your brother. Thank God for small mercies, I reply, adjusting my blue scarf. He slides a folder across the table. Everything's here. Falsified user data, doctored financial reports, fake testimonials. Your brother's quite the creative writer. I open the folder, though I already know what I'll find. The same documents I discovered in Hugo's cloud storage, plus more, much more. He cost me $2 million, Corey says quietly. But it's not just about the money. He used my name and reputation to lure in other investors. Smaller fish, people who couldn't afford to lose their savings. My hands tighten around my coffee cup. How many? 12 that I know of, mostly retired folks looking to get into tech investment. Your brother can be very persuasive. Tell me about it. I pull out my laptop. Want to see something interesting? I show him my receipts folder. His eyes widen as he scrolls through the evidence of Hugo's spending. Luxury hotels, private jets, designer clothes, all funded by my multiple jobs. Jesus, he whispers, your own brother did this to you? With our parents' full support. I take back my laptop. They're planning to drain my savings account next, already have the paperwork ready. Corey leans back, studying me. So what's your plan? Hugo's throwing a victory party next month, announcing his successful funding round, hundreds of guests, press, potential investors. A victory party? After everything that's happened? I smile. He doesn't know that I know. None of them do. They think I'm still their compliant ATM. And you want to expose him at his own party? Corey's eyes light up with interest. I want to expose all of them, but I need your help. I slide him a piece of paper with details. Will you be there, ready to confirm everything? He reads the paper carefully. This could destroy your family. They destroyed themselves. I'm just providing the evidence. My phone buzzes, a text from Hugo. Where's my money? Need it now. They're getting desperate, I say, showing Corey the message. Count me in, he decides. But what about you? After this goes down, I've got that covered. I open my email, showing him the job offer from Nelson. Remote cybersecurity position, already accepted. I move out next week, but they don't know that either. Smart girl. He stands, straightening his suit. 1 month then, make it count. After he leaves, I head to the bank. Not our family's usual branch, they'd tell Mum immediately. Instead, I visit one across town, opening a new account under my own name. I'd like to discuss identity theft protection, I tell the banker, and ensure no one else can access these funds. Back home, Hugo's waiting by my car. Where's my money? He demands. I hand him a cheque. That's all I could get today, 10,000. He snatches it, not even saying thanks. Inside, I hear him announcing to our parents, PR team starts tomorrow. We're going to turn this whole thing around. I slip upstairs to my room, opening my laptop to find an email from Nelson. Apartment lease approved. Keys available next week. You're really doing this? No turning back now, I reply. Another email catches my eye. From Marley to Hugo, CC'd to the entire PR team. Something's not adding up in these numbers. We need to talk. I save it to my receipts folder, then start packing. Just essentials. Enough to move out quietly when the time comes. My phone rings. Bianca. They're talking about having you sign some papers, she whispers. Something about consolidating family assets. Be careful, Sylvia. Thanks for the warning, I say, adding this information to my notes. A final email arrives from Corey. Just heard from another investor Hugo scammed. She's willing to speak at the party too. This is getting bigger than we thought. I close my laptop as Mum calls me down for dinner. One last month of playing the dutiful daughter. One last month of watching them build their house of cards higher and higher. Then I'll show them exactly what their compliant little ATM has been up to. Through my window I watch Hugo pull away in his luxury car, the one my night shifts paid for. He's heading to meet his PR team, no doubt spinning more tales about his brilliant success. Enjoy it while it lasts, big brother. The countdown to your victory party has begun. The Plaza Hotel? I stare at the invoice Mum's just handed me. You booked Hugo's victory party at the Plaza. Only the best for your brother's big night, Mum beams, completely missing my expression. The deposit's due today. Just put it on your card, sweetie. I glance at the amount, $25,000, more than I make in 4 months of combined wages. There's something else, Dad says, pulling out a stack of papers. Just some routine startup documents Hugo needs you to sign for the company restructuring. I take the papers, pretending to read them carefully, but I already know what they are. Bianca warned me. Transfer of assets forms, power of attorney, everything they need to drain my accounts completely. We'll need those signed before the party, Mum adds casually, for the big announcement. My phone buzzes, a text from Marley. Can we talk, privately? I'll review these tonight, I tell my parents, tucking the papers away, after my shift. Outside, Marley's waiting in her car. She looks terrible, like she hasn't slept in days. The numbers don't make sense, she says as soon as I get in. The user engagement data, the financial projections. I've been going through everything, and none of it adds up. Have you talked to Hugo about it? She laughs bitterly. He says I'm being paranoid, that I should focus on the party preparations instead. She turns to me, eyes desperate. What's really going on, Sylvia? Before I can answer, Hugo appears at the car window, making us both jump. There you are, he says too cheerfully. Mom says you have the papers. We need those signed ASAP. Just reviewing them, I say smoothly. What papers? Marley asks. Nothing important, Hugo cuts in quickly. Just boring legal stuff. Come on, we need to meet the event planner. I watch them drive away, then check my phone. 3 new messages. From Corey. 4 more investors want to speak out. This is going to be bigger than we thought. From Nelson. Your new apartment's ready whenever you are. Keys under the mat. From Bianca. They're planning something big for the party. Be careful. Inside, Mum's on the phone with the caterers, ordering champagne that costs more than my monthly rent. Dad's reviewing the guest list. Over 300 people, including tech journalists and potential investors. Oh, good, you're still here, Mum says, covering the phone. We need your card for the deposit. I hand it over, watching her recite the numbers. My nearly empty account. My worthless signature on those transfer papers they're so desperate for. By the way, she adds, I picked up your dress for the party. Something appropriate for once. You can pay me back next week. The dress hangs in the living room, a conservative blue number that probably cost another month's wages. Perfect for the dutiful daughter they want me to be. My phone buzzes again. A message from a journalist Hugo's been courting. Ms. Hamilton, regarding your brother's startup claims. I forward it to my secure email, adding it to the evidence file. Then I head upstairs to review the papers. In my room, I pull out my burner phone and dial Nelson. Everything's set, he says before I can speak. Your new office is waiting. Team's excited to meet you. 1 week, I remind him. After the party. You sure about this? Once it starts? I'm sure. I hang up as I hear Hugo coming up the stairs. He bursts into my room without knocking. Those papers signed yet? Almost done, I lie, just being thorough. Whatever, he snorts. Just don't screw this up. The party's going to change everything. You have no idea, I think, as he leaves. My laptop pings, an email from Hugo to a local tech blog. He's promising them an exclusive story about his revolutionary success. I save it to my receipts folder, right next to the real numbers. One more week of pretending. One more week of watching them plan their triumph. One more week of being their perfect, obedient daughter. Then I'll show them exactly what I've learned during all those night shifts and online classes. Mum calls up the stairs. "Sylvia, the florist needs your card number." I take a deep breath, touching the flash drive hanging around my neck. Everything's on here. Every lie, every manipulation, every dollar they've stolen from me. "Coming, Mom!" I call back, the perfect daughter's smile sliding into place. "The Plaza Hotel, huh? Well, if they want to go out with a bang, I'll give them a show they'll never forget. Let the countdown begin." The Plaza's ballroom sparkles with expensive lighting and false promises. I sip club soda at the bar, watching Hugo work the room like a conductor leading his final symphony. "Another amazing success story," Mom gushes to a group of investors. "We always knew Hugo was special. The whole family supported his vision." I catch Marley's eye across the room. She's wearing a forced smile, clutching her tablet like a shield. The latest social media metrics must be killing her. "There's my favourite sister." Hugo appears beside me, draping an arm around my shoulders. He reeks of expensive cologne and desperation. "Having fun?" "The time of my life," I say, touching the flash drive hidden beneath my blue dress. "Those papers all signed?" "In my bag. I'll give them to Dad after your speech." He squeezes my shoulder too hard. "Good girl. Always knew I could count on you." As he moves away to charm another group, Corey Rose enters the ballroom. Our eyes meet briefly. He nods once, then disappears into the crowd. "Sylvia?" Marley approaches, her voice low. "Something weird is happening. These engagement numbers Hugo gave me to post, they're impossible." "How impossible?" "Like, mathematically impossible, and I just saw 3 people I know weren't on the guest list." "Really?" I pretend to scan the room. "Who?" "That investor who pulled out last month, and some angry-looking people in suits." "Right on schedule." "Maybe you should ask Hugo about it," I suggest. "I tried. He told me to shut up and keep posting." Her hands shake slightly. "Sylvia, what's going on? Really?" Before I can answer, Mum swoops in. "Sylvia, the caterers need your card again. Something about an extra champagne tower?" "Of course," I smile, handing over my card one last time. It doesn't matter now. The new account is safe, and this one's almost empty anyway. The lights dim. Hugo takes the stage, looking every inch the successful tech entrepreneur in his $1,000 suit. Dad beams from the front row, already recording on his phone. "Ladies and gentlemen," Hugo begins, "tonight we celebrate not just success, but family. Without my family's unwavering support, especially my sister Sylvia's incredible sacrifices." I check my phone. A message from Nelson. "Ready when you are." Another from Corey. Everyone's in position. And so it gives me great pleasure to announce our latest funding round of $50 million. The crowd applauds. Mum wipes away proud tears. "But first," Hugo continues, "I want to thank my sister properly. Sylvia, come up here." This wasn't part of the plan. I feel hundreds of eyes turn toward me. "Come on, sis, don't be shy." Marley touches my arm. Something's wrong. Hugo looks different. She's right. There's a gleam in his eye I recognise from childhood, the look he got right before throwing me under the bus. I make my way to the stage, my heels clicking against marble floors. In my purse, the unsigned papers wait like a loaded gun. "My sister," Hugo announces, pulling me close, "has been the backbone of this company, and tonight she's agreed to make it official, to sign over her stake in our family's assets, fully committing to our shared vision." The crowd cheers. Mum and Dad beam. Marley frowns. "Actually," I say into the microphone, my voice steady, "I have a different announcement to make." Hugo's grip on my shoulder tightens. "Sylvia." You see, my brother's right about one thing. I pull out my laptop from behind the podium where I'd stashed it earlier. I have been the backbone of this company. Let me show you exactly how. Don't, Hugo hisses, but I'm already connecting to the projector. Ladies and gentlemen, I say clearly, I'd like to share some interesting numbers with you. The first spreadsheet appears on the massive screen behind us. Hugo's real financial records, his actual user data, the truth about where every investor's money really went. "Sylvia!" Mum shrieks from the audience. "Stop this immediately!" And here, I continue, changing slides, are the receipts for every private jet, every luxury hotel, every expensive party, all paid for with my janitor's salary and waitress tips. The room erupts in murmurs. I spot Corey Rose moving toward the stage, followed by the other burned investors. "Security!" Hugo shouts, but no one moves. "One more thing," I say, pulling out the transfer papers. "These documents you wanted me to sign?" I rip them in half. I quit. The ballroom explodes into chaos. Hugo lunges for the laptop, but I'm faster. The evidence is already streaming to every screen in the room. It's time for the real show to begin. "Turn it off!" Hugo lunges for the laptop, but I sidestep him easily. The evidence continues streaming across every screen in the ballroom. Bank statements, forged documents, damning emails, 3 years of receipts lighting up the night. "Here's where my brother spent $2 million of Corey Rose's investment," I announce, clicking through slides. Private jets, luxury resorts, a yacht rental in Monaco, all while I worked night shifts scrubbing toilets to pay his bills. "She's lying!" Hugo grabs the microphone. "This is a hack, a sabotage." "Actually," Corey steps forward, "everything she's showing is true. I have the original documents to prove it." The crowd erupts. Journalists frantically type on their phones. Investors surge forward, shouting questions. In the chaos, I spot Marley staring at the screens, her face ash white as she sees the fake social media numbers she'd been unknowingly posting. "And here," I continue, my voice cutting through the noise, "are the documents our parents prepared yesterday, their attempt to seize my remaining savings for their golden child's next scam." Mom pushes through the crowd, her perfectly made-up face twisted with rage. "How dare you embarrass your brother like this, after everything we've done for you?" "Everything you've done for me?" I laugh, pulling up more receipts. "Let's talk about that. Here's where you used my credit card for this party. Here's where you drained my college fund for Hugo's first failed startup. Here's where—" "Enough!" Dad's voice booms as he storms the stage. "You ungrateful little—" "Mr. Hamilton!" A stern voice cuts through. A woman in a sharp suit steps forward. "I'm with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We'd like to ask your son some questions about these investment discrepancies." Hugo's face goes from red to white. "This is all a misunderstanding." "And I represent several of the private investors," another man announces. "We'll be filing charges for fraud." The ballroom dissolves into bedlam. Investors demand refunds. Journalists shout questions. The catering staff begins packing up, realizing they won't be getting paid. "You've ruined everything," Hugo screams, grabbing my arm. "You were supposed to support me. You were supposed to—" "Let go of her." Marley's voice cuts through his rant. She's holding her tablet like a weapon. "The real numbers are already trending. It's over, Hugo." He releases me, staring at her in betrayal. "Marley, baby, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly." She pulls off her engagement ring and drops it at his feet. I quit too. Mum crumples into a chair, sobbing about family loyalty. Dad argues loudly with the SEC representative. Hugo stands frozen, watching his house of cards collapse. "One more thing," I say, turning to address the crowd. "To all the employees who haven't been paid, all the contractors waiting for invoices to clear, I've prepared a file for the Labour Board. You'll be hearing from them soon." "You can't do this," Mum wails. "We're your family." "Not anymore." I pack up my laptop as hotel security arrives. By the way, I've accepted a position as a cybersecurity analyst, remote work. Don't try to find me. Corey approaches through the chaos. "Nice work, though I think the SEC involvement was a surprise bonus." The best revenge plans leave room for improvisation. I smile, watching Hugo being escorted to a quiet room for questioning. Marley catches me at the door. "I had no idea," she whispers, "about any of it. I'm so sorry." "Not your fault, but you might want to lawyer up the social media stuff." She nods grimly. "Already on it. Good luck, Sylvia." As I walk toward the exit, Bianca appears. "That was quite a show, cousin." "You knew?" "I suspected. That's why I kept warning you." She hugs me quickly. "Get out of here. I'll handle the family fallout." Outside, the night air feels clean and crisp. My phone buzzes with notifications. The story's already breaking on tech news sites. Hugo's empire is trending for all the wrong reasons. Another message pops up from Nelson. "Saw the live stream. Your desk is ready whenever you are. Welcome to the team." Behind me, I hear Hugo's voice rising in panic as the SEC leads him through the lobby. Mum's sobs echo off marble floors. Dad argues with hotel security about the unpaid bill. My new apartment keys feel heavy in my pocket. Freedom has a weight to it, and a price. But as I slide into my car, watching the plaza's lights fade in my rearview mirror, I feel nothing but relief. Let them deal with the consequences of their actions. Let them face the truth they tried so hard to hide. I've got a new job to start, and a whole life to reclaim. My new apartment's window overlooks a quiet street lined with maple trees. The morning sun streams in as I sip coffee and scan the latest tech news headlines. Tech startup founder faces federal charges in investment scandal. Family fraud, the Hamilton tech empire collapse. SEC investigation reveals pattern of deception. My phone buzzes, Marley calling. "The plea deal's done," she says without preamble. "Hugo's looking at 18 months minimum. They're calling me to testify next week." "How are you holding up?" "Better, actually. Got a new job with a legitimate startup. They loved how I handled the PR crisis after everything." A notification pops up on my laptop. Another angry email from Mum, her third today. I delete it without reading. "Your parents still trying to contact you?" Marley asks. Daily. They've moved from threats to guilt trips. Dad's latest was about how I've destroyed the family name. "The fraud charges did that, not you." My doorbell rings. It's a delivery, a small package from Bianca. Inside, I find a framed photo of us as kids, before Hugo's dreams consumed everything. There's a note. "Some memories are worth keeping. Proud of you." My work computer chimes with an urgent message. Another company's security has been breached, their investors' data compromised. They need our team. "Gotta go," I tell Marley. "Actual work calls." "Unlike the fake kind?" she laughs. "By the way, did you see Corey Rose's new investment fund? The one specifically for women in tech?" I smile, remembering our conversation last week. He's asked me to help vet potential investments, looking for genuine innovation rather than smoke and mirrors. My phone buzzes again. Nelson, my boss now. "Ready for the team meeting? We've got a situation." On my way. I open my video conference software, watching my colleagues' faces pop up one by one. Real people doing real work, no fake metrics or inflated promises. "Morning, everyone," Nelson begins. "We've got a potential fraud alert at..." A chat message pops up from an unknown number. "Miss Cleaning floors yet?" Hugo. He must have gotten a phone in prison. I block the number and focus on Nelson's briefing. Let Hugo stew in his consequences. I've got actual problems to solve. Another message, this time from Bianca. "Parents are selling the house. Too many bills, not enough Hugo money. Thought you should know." I close that too. Their financial problems aren't mine anymore. "Sylvia?" Nelson's voice cuts through my thoughts. "Want to lead this investigation?" "Absolutely." I pull up my terminal, fingers flying over keys. This is what I was meant to do, protecting people from the kind of schemes my brother perfected. My personal email pings. A message from a women's tech mentorship program. They want me to speak about recognizing and escaping toxic workplace dynamics. Tell your story, they write. Help others find their way out. I think about all the nights I spent studying while my family thought I was working extra shifts, all the skills I built while they underestimated me, all the strength I found while they tried to break me. I'll do it, I reply. The morning sun catches my professional certification frames, hung proudly on my office wall. Below them sits a small plaque from our latest client. Thank you for protecting our investors. My work phone rings. Another potential case. Another chance to prevent someone else from being exploited. This is my victory party. Not with champagne towers and fake promises, but with honest work and real impact. A final message appears from Marley. Meeting some friends for dinner, real friends. Want to join? Count me in, I type back. My terminal blinks with the new case details. Time to dive in, to use everything I've learned, not just the technical skills, but the ability to spot lies, to follow money trails, to trust my instincts. The maple trees outside my window rustle in the breeze. My coffee's gone cold, but I don't mind. I've got work to do, friends to meet, a life to live. Let Hugo count his prison days. Let my parents mourn their broken dreams. Let the past stay where it belongs. I've got fraud to fight, people to protect, and a future that's finally, completely my own. Opening my terminal, I start typing. There are more stories like mine out there, more schemes to uncover, more truth to defend, and I'm just getting started.